The Alabama Community College system plays a big role in helping students transfer from being a student to the workforce. Joining us now is the head of the Alabama Community College system, Jimmy Baker. Chancellor, so good to see you.
Good to see you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Now, to let people know exactly what the ACCS is, because a lot of times people may think it's a part of the Department of Education. Not exactly. It works with the Department of Education, but it has a huge role in helping students transfer from being a student into the workforce world, and among other things. Tell us a little bit more about what the Alabama Community College system does, sir.
Well, actually, the Alabama Community College system, we have our own board of trustees that's appointed by the governor, confirmed by the state senate, and we function separate and apart from the state board or the State Department of Education. But our main mission is to provide an affordable education opportunity for students so that they can either complete a course of study with us for a 2-year period of time and then transfer to a 4-year school at a very economical cost. But many of our students are coming for training. We offer all kinds of certifications that is recognized nationally, so that if you've received training as a welder, it may be that if that's the case, then you get a certificate and you can go to another state or another part of the state, and people understand and appreciate the value of that certification. Something that is kind of probably not noticeable because we're scattered all over the state. We have 24 colleges. We have 88 different instructional sites. And so we're not very far from most anybody at some point in time. But over the course of a year, we will touch about 145,000 students. That's more students that is enrolled in all of the other state 4-year universities that is supported by the state. But a lot of that is part-time. A lot of that is for short courses. We have courses that in some cases are only 3 weeks, but we offer a full selection of courses if you want to pursue a degree, an associate degree. It's been an interesting process.
I'm guessing, like so many other entities around the world, especially here in this country, in Alabama, your job, your task has had some changes due to the pandemic in making sure people can get what they need to get to where they want to go from an educational standpoint, because a lot of things from this point forward have changed, for lack of better words. And I know you're probably bouncing back from that and seeing the numbers increase even more than ever before.
Well, that is true. It has changed education across the country, not just in Alabama, but across the country. Although I still pretty much believe that education is a social environment. You learn not just from the instructor, you learn from other students that you're studying with, that you're being a part of a group with. And so I think we can't totally compensate just for all of that. But we are able and have improved tremendously in delivering over the internet access to an education for a lot of people that heretofore would have never had that opportunity.
And you mentioned so many people, so many locations, so many programs. You also have had the benefit of having more members, presidential-wise, chancellor-wise, throughout the system to now help balance things out, have you not, sir?
Well, I've been in this office for about a little over 5 years now. When I took office, there were 9 interim presidents. And in many cases, they were in schools that had had an interim president for several years, sometimes as much as 8 or 10 years. Today, we have 24 colleges with 24 presidents. And they're presidents who are looking to make a career of running that community college. They're also presidents that were not necessarily selected by politics. They were selected because they had a commitment, a proven record of success in the world of education and our business. We have a mix of both, but they're committed to making that college a community college. And I stress community because we really count on their commitment to making that college serve the community that they're in, whether it be for academic programs or workforce training skills.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, as you said, you reach out to many areas throughout the state of Alabama, many students, many who are looking for an advancement in what they're doing education-wise, and maybe even a change from what they have been working on. And there are several programs that the ACCS has been working on to help out with that. Some of them have been going on now for the last 2 or 3 years, and they even sprouted out other programs, have they not, sir?
Oh, they have, and we've expanded a lot of additional programs and adding other programs. For example, right now in Mobile, Alabama, we have developed an advanced manufacturing center that's almost ready to open. It will be a showplace for the nation because it's the key location. We have 26 chemical companies located between Mobile and Jackson, Alabama on the Alabama River. They need service. They need to be able to hire people that are trained in the process of creating the chemicals that are needed. And we're standing up a model that has not been replicated across this country. That's one thing, but that's just one. We are adding career programs all across the state. Our goal is to have it readily available within fairly easy reach, serving the communities and their needs so that we are training everyone that is needed in the skills that are used in that area. And we're a long way from being there, but today we have about 18 centers that are being developed at the colleges for the purpose of adding more training and more skills programs.
Is the goal to have 24 colleges? Would you like to have 24 of those centers or even more?
Well, we already have centers there, like the one I just mentioned that we've already built in Mobile. But yes, ultimately, we will have at every school. And then we also join hands with a lot of the high schools, the school systems. And we will be teaching in their schools some of the skills training programs. So we're just trying to find ways so that every citizen of Alabama who needs help can find a way to get that help at a reasonable cost.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that reaching back into high schools in many ways will give students an extra boost and make them more prepared. So by the time they graduate from high school, they already have some credit and some experience at what they need for college.
Well, it's interesting. That is exactly correct. And it's interesting that we now have many times a student will graduate from high school sometime on the same day that they graduate with an associate degree from a community college because they've taken dual enrollment courses while in high school. And if you stop and consider, that cost is a huge assist by the state to fund a student's education. Just think of only having to pay for 2 years of college because you already have an associate degree that was funded through the state appropriations. It's a big plus. And because of that, our enrollment, the pandemic caused nationally a decline in enrollment across the country in community colleges, but also four-year colleges. We didn't have a decline in enrollment. When the state was declining, the national decline was about 3%. We had a 2% increase. I expect even a larger increase this year based on what we're already seeing with enrollment. And we're doing it because of the leadership in every school of a president who is committed to serving that community.
And would you say making these programs and those colleges, your facilities, I should say, more accessible and affordable for students, a big draw as well, sir?
Oh, it is a big draw. It's a huge plus because, look, what happens in the state, and it's a good thing. It's not a criticism. I hope it's not seen that way. We bring in major industry. Toyota, Mazda, for example. They hire a lot of people. Oftentimes, who shows up and is hired by those companies because of the pay scale. are people who already had jobs with smaller businesses. Where do they turn? That's a real issue. We are trying to fill that gap, and we work with those associations, National Federation of Independent Businesses, most of the execs of the various associations we work with and help them, and they help us design curriculum that serves their particular needs. And so we're working closely with the associations throughout the state. For example, we've established a CDL training program for commercial driver's license. We are, for the first time in this state, teaching programs in heavy equipment operation that is needed to hire people to build and pave roads. And so we're looking at construction. We're working with the contractors and trucking association. And we're trying to collect from the community the information about what do you need and help us develop a curriculum so we can teach what is needed.
Chancellor Jimmy Baker of the Alabama Community College System, thank you for your time. And if people want more information, they can go and seek you guys out and talk about some of these other programs you have.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Baker, thank you for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. And Capital Journal will return.